Quentin Tarantino was a video store clerk before figuring out how to turn his passion into a career. Ava DuVernay didn't pick up a camera until her 30s. The key is learning the right skills in the right order. And the difference between staying a dreamer and becoming a working director comes down to building a strong foundation. But to move forward, you need to address the obstacles holding you back. So what is keeping you from advancing? Well, right now, one or more gaps may be preventing you from taking the next step. The first gap is that you don't have a clear roadmap. Where do you even start? And without a structured plan, it's easy to jump from one filmmaking tip to another, watching tutorials and hoping things will eventually fall into place. But successful directors don't just make films, they build a career strategy. The second gap is that your story and screenplay structure aren't strong enough to attract financing. Maybe you have a great idea, but you struggle with turning it into an investor-ready screenplay. You might find yourself lost in the process, unsure how to create compelling characters, structure your story, or build an emotional journey that truly resonates. But before you can direct a film, you need a story worth telling. Learning how to build a concept that captivates an audience is what separates amateurs from professionals. Gap number 3 is that you have limited industry awareness or pitching skills. If you haven't pitched your idea yet, you might not know how to position it for industry professionals. You might not be sure what makes a film sellable, how to talk about your project in a way that excites people, or how to create a pitch deck to secure funding. The best filmmakers don't just make films, they sell their vision. Even at this early stage, you need to start thinking like a director who can pitch their ideas with confidence. And that's where the action method comes in. If you're serious about breaking into the film industry as a director, the Radical Strategy Workshop is a game changer. It's an industry-backed approach designed to help aspiring filmmakers like you break into the business, secure funding, and direct their own films. And this strategy was developed through real-world experience, trial and error, and learning what actually works when it comes to getting a film made. It provides a clear blueprint for how to go from an aspiring director to a working filmmaker. At the heart of the Radical Strategy is the concept of script ownership, a strategy used by some of the most successful filmmakers in history, including Quentin Tarantino, Greta Gerwig, and Christopher Nolan. And these directors didn't wait for permission to direct. They didn't sell their scripts and hope for an opportunity to direct later. Instead, they held their scripts hostage, meaning they only sold their screenplays if they were attached as the director. And that might sound bold, even risky, but it's exactly what worked for them. So if you want to direct your own film, you have to create leverage and position yourself as the only person who can bring your story to life. But here's the catch. To be in a position where you can hold your script hostage, you need a market-ready screenplay. And getting to that level is not easy, especially in an industry as competitive as the film business. But even if you write a screenplay that attracts producers and investors, they will almost always want to hire a seasoned director, not a first-time filmmaker. So how do you convince them that you are the only person who should direct your film? Well, it all starts at the concept level. Your film idea needs to be so uniquely yours that it becomes clear to everyone, producers, actors, investors, that no one else could direct it but you. And that's exactly what Tarantino, Nolan, and Gerwig did. Could anyone else have directed Reservoir Dogs better than Tarantino? Could another filmmaker have brought Memento to life the way Nolan did? And could anyone else have told the deeply personal story of Lady Bird the way Greta Gerwig did? These directors got the chance to direct their first films because their screenplays weren't just brilliant, they were personal and unmistakably theirs. And their stories were so deeply connected to them that handing them over to another director would have made no sense. My goal is to help you use the same radical strategy so that you can get on the set of your first film as a director. And the first step is to take action and start closing the gaps that are holding you back. So what is the path forward? How to close the gap and take action? Well, the key at this stage is defining your signature concept. This is the personal story with universal appeal that will be the foundation of everything you create. You need structure, skills, and confidence. And right now, your priority should be building a strong creative foundation, because without it, everything else will crumble. And that's exactly what the Signature Concept course is designed to help you do. A well-developed signature concept is your first big step toward filmmaking success. And this course is designed to help you develop a unique, compelling concept that makes your work stand out in the industry. And here's what you will learn. First of all, how to create a strong film concept that grabs attention. How to develop a personal story with universal appeal. That is the core of your signature concept. How to think like a filmmaker and take actionable steps toward your goal. How to position yourself in the industry and start making progress in your career. And why this matters? Well, because the biggest mistake beginners make is jumping into screenwriting without a clear concept. But the truth is that without a strong foundation, your work will not stand out. And you will waste years writing scripts that don't advance your career. The Signature Concept course helps you to build a creative identity so you don't get lost in the crowd. And your challenge is to take the first step. If you're serious about becoming a director, this is your moment to take action. But you don't have to figure everything out alone. The Signature Concept course will give you the structure and guidance to move forward with confidence. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't? Well, the ones that succeed have taken this first step. Because your dream is possible. So let's make it happen together. Are you ready to build your signature concept? Click the link below.